Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Well, we now have a new Inspector General of Police, almost. Technically, he still is acting Inspector General of Police. Mohamed Adamu is the new man. He was decorated yesterday by President Muhammadu Buhari and former Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris. And so we'll talk about that. And my guest this morning, we've got Mr. Alade Taiwo, Mr. Wala Alade Taiwo, JP, Assistant Commissioner of Police, retired, and now he's the Managing Director of his own security firm. Thank you very much for coming on.
Good morning.
Indeed, thank you very much. And right next to him is Mr. Nwaguma. Okochiku Nwaguma is National Coordinator, Network on Police Reform in Nigeria, NOPRIN. Good to see you again.
It's a pleasure to be here once more.
Indeed. And indeed, compliments of the seasons to you. To the season, I guess we can still say that. I don't think I can say it anymore after the 15th. After the 15th. Or we can do it all of January.
Yes. We get in areas.
Indeed. So here we are now. The former Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, how does one put it? There was a lot of commentary while he was in office as to how well he was doing in office. So to cut a long story short, now the president has indeed, put forward another person. Maybe the question to ask is, since I know that NOPRIN as an organization, Network on Police Reform in Nigeria, I believe you also were critical of the former Inspector General of Police. So the question then would be, are you now happy? That is to say, all those that participated in the conversation and were critical of the former Inspector General, has it been solved? Has the problem been solved now?
Well, the first point to make is to say that it sounds good to note that the president didn't succumb to the pressure to extend the tenure of the former IGP. His tenure ended technically in January 3, when he had 35 years in service. And of course, it's either 35 years or 60 years of age. And it was only on the 15th, when he attained 60, that the president decided to ease him off. But we knew about, efforts to get extension. And it was not just because of the expiration of his term, but also because of his performance, which we considered dismal. You know that police partisanship had always been a problem within the police, but under this immediate past IGP, partisanship was taken to the level of statecraft. It was so unabashed. He clearly demonstrated that his role was to protect the interests of the government and the party in power, as opposed to providing equal security to every citizen, everybody, without regard to political affiliation. And so we
that
thought
was the perception.
Well, if you want me to outline the acts that we consider partisan.
I'm saying that, generally speaking, this is the perception, at least within NOPRIN.
He got involved in several acts that clearly depicted him as being partisan.
Okay. And so that had to be a stop had to be put to that sometime.
In addition to numerous allegations of criminal conduct that were not investigated, including allegations of predatory sexual misconduct. We thought that somebody carrying such baggage, should not continue as IGP. Particularly as elections were coming close. We saw situations where the police were used to forcefully and illegally remove speakers of houses of assembly in states, controlled by opposition. I mean, it was clearly partisan, and so we thought that he shouldn't stay.
Okay. Well, from the old into the new, Mr. Alade Taiwo, you being in the house, so to speak, retired police officer, so you know these guys. The first point that I've heard a lot of people also speak about is that as a result of the coming of the new acting IG, so many senior officers are now going to have to go. One paper reports 7 DIGs, 10 AIGs, and the Inspector General, the new acting Inspector General, was an AIG himself. a DIG is senior to, an AIG.
Yeah.
Is there a particular logic? Why do we keep going to ranks like AIG, not going to DIGs? Why do we continue to go to ranks like AIGs and then have to retire everybody that was senior to him, and in the process lose our investment in manpower development?
It's really political,
This has been going on in the police for a while.
Yes. It's a sad story, to be honest, because if a new IG has to be appointed, an IG has to step into the shoe of the outgoing or former IG. But it has been the normal thing for quite a long time now. We have had so many IGs who are promoted, even from commissioner to AIG,
Indeed, when you look at it.
to IG.
I think you made the point that Okiro himself, at one time.
Those people, they have double promotion,
Yes,
even
because,
triple promotion.
yes.
Balogun was removed from Zone 7 at Kano. I mean, that is Kano to become IG, A lot of them, like the one that left, Ibrahim Idris, a lot of AIGs and DIGs were sent home.
Okay,
Up till now, I don't think they have their papers. Now, the current one, we have 17 senior officers that have left. That if you look at them, they are credible and worthy people to become IG. But we are in politics. You see, this is the problem we have in this country. For the past 16 years, I've retired as Assistant Commissioner of Police. And my brain is still active. I'm still, in the job. But we were just left. And that's why we have problems, security problems. These people that were left away now have nothing to do. They are not prepared for retirement, and they must eat. They must take care of the children and their family. Now, they can now be engaged in a lot of hopelessness.
Now, even though that human factor is important, but in terms of developing our institutions and strengthening our institutions, what does this do to the police itself? The new Inspector General has, I think, said, paraphrasing him now, that something about we will re-strategize, so paraphrasing him, indicating that I am aware the perception that people have.
Yeah.
So that seems to indicate that there are issues, as you are just saying yourself.
There's a lot of issues. Okay, he himself now, he has to be more prepared than, it's just like you are sitting down, you are not expecting something. They jump the protocol and you are put on the chair. You have to sit well and try to go back to those who are retired and say, how do you do this, how do you do that?
If all things were level, so to speak,
Yeah.
From outside, it would seem logical that the next most senior police officer, that gang,
Yes.
that group, is where you'd select the new IGP for.
Yes, that was supposed to be.
That's what's supposed to be.
Yes.
But hasn't happened now.
No.
And it didn't happen when the ex-AIG was there.
Yes.
And even before then, it's become something of a tradition. Now, when you say it's all political, I don't know, are you at liberty to explain a bit more? Because you see, the Inspector General of Police is supposed to be the Inspector General of Nigeria Police.
Of course.
And every Nigerian is supposed to be under his purview.
Yes, sir.
But from what you've said that it's political, the dangerous thing about that is that he therefore is going to have political specs on. He's going to have political spectacles on.
Really, that's what my colleague has said.
That's what Noprin said.
Yes, that's what he has said.
But I can come in here if you like.
He who pays the piper dictates the tune. You see? Now, what really happens, like what you said, and from outside view, people will look at us as people who couldn't graduate from one step to the other. You know, and you lose a lot of brains. These people have been trained a lot. They know what it means.
Both locally and internationally.
Internationally.
And they come out with, Nigerians are known to come out in flying colors.
Of course.
At those kind of things.
There is nowhere I cannot operate in the world as I'm sitting down with you here. See, because the police can do any other man's job, but you can't do police job. See, you do get what I'm trying to say. But you cannot do police job. When Babangida was trying to remove all the prostitutes, he removed some FICI, he put army there. He removed some custom officer, he put a military man there. When he came to the police, he could not do it. Because it's not possible.
Such is the skill set.
Yes!
Okay, okay, Chiku, you were going to come in on that whole matter.
Yes.
The organization, this whole matter about developing our institutions, protecting our institutions, how much harm do you think is being done to the police? And the Police Service Commission, what do they have any role? Can they do anything?
Now, the first thing is that over the years, the Constitution has been breached by successive governments, particularly with regards to appointment of an IGP. The Constitution requires that the Police Council has to sit to consider and recommend an IGP to the IGP, to the President, who is then sent to the Senate for screening and confirmation. But the Police Council has never sat. The practice is that the President single-handedly handpicks and appoints whoever he chooses. Under Jonathan, you know, he was the man who was CP when he was deputy governor in Bayelsa, that he met IG when he became president. Then when President Buhari came, he took this man from Kano. And like you said, generations of senior officers are forced to retire prematurely. And when you force people that the country has spent money to train and retrain, you don't only waste manpower, you waste resources, you also destroy institutional memory.
And how about morale within the force?
It breeds indiscipline and discontent within the police, because apart from those ones that are forced to go, there are also others who remain, who actually were other mates or even superiors to the in the IG at the time. So they still feel that, because this is also the whole thing about promotion, the irregularities around promotion, you know, and this for me are some of the challenges. And of course, let me also tell you that there is a police reform bill that is before the Senate now, you know, which seeks to repeal and reenact the Police Act, Colonial Police Act, which was enacted in 1943. The act that regulates the police now predates the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1943. It has never benefited from any significant review ever since. But for the first time, the current Senate has come up with a bill which came up for public hearing in December 5. Now, this bill has received a lot of inputs from critical stakeholders. And if this bill is passed, it will help to address some of these issues, because it provides a new legal framework for policing in Nigeria. So I think that we need to also focus, and that is one of the challenges I want to throw to the new IG, to support the passage of that police, because it will also help him. It also contains provisions that will help to protect the office of the IG and insulate the police from political control, which is a major issue, you know.
Well, if I were to come back to you, Mr. Aladi Taiwo.
Yes, sir.
What would you, from your vantage position, to begin to set an agenda for the new IGP? Haven't been there, no doubt you've retired, but you still keep an eye on the police. I mean, that's your constituency.
Yes.
What do you think should be the priority of any new IGP in a situation such as ours?
Yes.
By the way, I think we take for granted elections will be free, fair, the new IGP Adamu pledges. So that to one side.
There will be no problem during the election.
But you just said that the whole thing is political.
What I'm saying, I said the appointment is political.
The appointments
it's not
are political.
According to the normal
Yes.
civil service regulations.
But you also
like what he said.
Yes, but you also said that he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So these are things that I want to sort of nail down and see how much of a worry these things are.
No, this is a new man coming on the stage, and he has to play his card. You know, he must be plain to every person.
Yes.
And he must serve Nigeria as a whole. Therefore, we will have no problem during the election.
Okay.
That is one. Two, you know, I've said it several times on TV and radio, that there should be aggressive recruitment of policemen. And the training period should be reduced to 3 months. From 6 months to 3 months.
Okay, so we can...
That is what happened during the war. That was a product of crash program during the Ojukwu War. They trained us to go and serve at the war area. You know, the problem we have now is that we don't have enough policemen in the northeast, where we have Boko Haram. The Boko Haram war should have been ended long before now. Because when the military fights, there is no replacement. There is no people that will bring the people to the civil life. Every one of them, they are still in military, state of life. So what they should do, what he should do now, is that he should borrow from this system, train the indigenes. All these youths that are recruited for Boko Haram, train them as a police officer and put them back to their community.
In their community.
Yes. You see, within a think of an eye, you have peace all over the area.
The other thing, I talked about morale within the force in the light of everything that has gone.
Yes.
And that also probably is, since we must have an efficient and effective police force, no doubt he probably needs to pay attention in that regard.
The salary is not there.
And you said that they should take more on.
You said what?
You said they should employ more.
Yes.
But even those that are there, there's a difficulty.
The difficulty in making them feel comfortable.
So the new IGP really has his work cut out for him.
Yes, he has to. He has to do something reasonable to gear up the spirit of the policemen. In those days, the money was not there, but the people were happy doing a police job.
Okay. Let me hear from Garba in Makurdi. Good morning, Garba.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning. Good morning to your guests there.
Indeed.
The people are doing a wonderful job. Please, let me make my contribution express. You see, I don't know. Look at it now. There are some vibrant DIGs, about 7, so to say. Now, as they appointed this ID, that's what I want to ask the retired CT AIG there. Let me ask you this question. So those that will be forced to retire, which provision government or police service commission will do to them, or they will just go like that without any assignment again? That's all. Or what? Because if that's the case, we are losing manpower, professional. As one of your guests said there, we are losing memories. You understand? I don't buy that idea. I'm urging of the Police Service Commission and the Senate, as they said, they should bring a law that will make sure that someone from the DIG must be picked. Must be picked, no matter what.
Okay.
Because if that's the case, I'm telling you, lack of subordination, incompetency, who come there, have a nice day in Lagos.
All right, then. Well, okay, thank you very much for calling in. Yeah, that's his take. That, look, if, for instance, somebody had been choosing for 7 DIGs, 10 AIGs that have to go, if the choice had been a DIG, then one of them, then the other 6 don't have to go, right?
Yes.
Neither do the 10 AIGs, all of which we spent money to develop, their training. I don't know. It seems logical, but then well, these things are not necessarily logical to those of us outside here. Okechukwu, it's happened before, it's happened now. There's no reason to feel that it won't happen in the future.
Again.
Yeah, well, like I told you, the new IG has just come into office. He's not the cause of this problem. He's only now. These issues keep coming, and this is so why I made reference to the police reform bill.
Stop.
These issues have been addressed in that bill to push the police council, which, by the way, is composed of the president, all the state governors, the chairman of the Police Service Commission, and the IG. They are members of the police council who ought to meet. Now, if the bill I'm talking about passes, it will address
all these
issue and many others. But having said that, we have a new IG, and I have looked at his resume, and I think I don't have any reason to doubt that he doesn't have the ability to lead, to provide better leadership than the former.
Okay.
He has a lot of challenges. One of which is, I've already said, he needs to support the passage of the police reform bill. Two, he has to return the police to the path of professionalism. Under the past IG, the police became a political tool.
Okay.
So the new IG has a duty to make it clear to police officers that the police is going to remain neutral. It's going to be a democratic police that is accountable to the law and to the people through elected representatives, rather than a regime police that will serve only the interests of the ruling party. And this is one challenge in this. He also needs to address the issue of welfare within the police.
Okay.
For example...
I'm going to come back and you continue, because I'm sure there are a lot, he has a shopping list. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
Thank you. Uncle Yori, the issue of appointment, I think it is about time we divert sentiment from it. If you look at the police that we have now, for a long time, they have since deviated from their traditional functions. The army has virtually taken over policing work. So our police cannot address kidnapping. They cannot address banditry or robbery. It is army, the military, that we are now using to address these security issues. If the police were to be effective, the army will not need to be drafted to perform those functions. The question of seniority in appointment, one must look at it critically. Performance is key. It is not necessarily the person in the highest position that is best. We should be looking at who can do it best. For me, Uncle Yori, I am an advocate that a non-police officer, a non-career officer should actually come to head the police. Because the corporate culture of the police cannot be revived or cannot be revamped by a member of the police force who is coming from the system. Look at all the ones that have been appointed from time to time. They are not able to make any appreciable change. I want to see what has happened in customs, happening in the police as well. Somebody who is not in the system is the only one that can bring effective innovation to our policing system. Let us stop talking, crying about this one is senior. We don't talk of performance. We should be talking about performance.
Okay.
Thank you, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in. Mr. Hala Ditaibo, what do you think of that idea?
What he's saying,
It's clear enough.
It's
clear.
like a wobbled-legged person. You carry a load, Yoruba, it's a Yoruba proverb. And you are talking of you don't see the leg.
But is he...
Now, let me just come in. He was saying military are performing the police duties. He didn't know why. He didn't know the cause. Police job was taken away from the police and thrown away to different type of people. You see, initially, with all apology, when the military came, they just fragmented the police. Because they know that the police are very
powerful, but allegedly there was a lot of rot within the police. And I preceded that with the word allegedly. There was a lot of rot within the police, allegedly.
Look.
The history of rot in the police goes back to the military era.
It's
Goes back to the military
Causes
era.
all this stuff.
Okay. Also from Dokwemu, Yakub, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Secretary.
Thank you for calling.
And then good morning to your guests in the studio.
Yes.
Secretary, quickly, I think I want to point out some certain things now. One of your guests said something is not quite long. He said IDP, under his watch, the police turned to political tones or whatever. I think, Secretary, I dare to disagree with him. You know why? Let me give you a typical example now, quickly. Yesterday, I read it on social media and then I watched one video on YouTube. One of it is that in person of Odumakin says that EFCC is surrounded the
Yakub,
house.
Yakub.
Hello, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you just leave that alone? Because when we go to break and come back, we're going to deal with that as our second topic, fake news. Thank you very much for calling in, Yakub. I appreciate you. So, as I said, in another less than 10 minutes, when we go on break and come back, we're going to be looking at fake news and the danger of fake news against the backdrop of what Yakub was speaking about. But so, be patient, Yakub. You probably can call in again in another 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll deal with that one exclusively. But for now, it's the new IGP. It's very difficult to please Nigerians. I have still heard some comments, not that these are universal comments, but I've heard some comments about, but did the president have to go to the north? You know, so I'm just saying that you can't satisfy everybody. Yeah. Somebody said, I was expecting it to come from this or that or this or that region. But the important thing is that I think there seems to be consensus on the fact that the former IGP needed to, you know, step aside or just go for so many different reasons. I suppose the next question is, so how many of the problems are we sort of optimistic that a lot of the issues we complained about there will at least be better handled here? And I think this whole matter of nepotism, favoritism, yes, all of that, all of those allegations were laid at the door of the former IGP. So this new IGP, acting IGP, has a shopping list and has his work cut out for him. I suppose there's a sense in which we can say we just wish him the best in what is not going to be an easy job. Because
but I'll tell you something. Sorry, sir. If he needs to succeed, he has inherited a huge, huge responsibilities, huge challenges, really. And I think that one way he can succeed is to try to engage with critical stakeholders, particularly civil society, communities, and this is where the Lagos State Commissioner of Police is good in terms of engagement with communities, engagement with civil society, because you need ideas, you need input, you need public trust.
Indeed.
For you to be able to, at least it eases the challenges I have, and he can't solve everything at a time, but I think he needs to start identifying critical stakeholders that can help him succeed. Borrow the leaf from the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Mohamed, who has prioritized community engagement and then accountability, ensuring that police officers who go outside the law to enforce the law are brought to account.
Maybe very, very quickly, can we just talk about the so-called drama? One paper calls it a drama, and I'm talking that happened in the police force yesterday. I'm talking about something about postings of the commissioners.
The Lagos State Commissioner.
The Lagos State Commissioner and the River State Commissioner.
Before that happened, we had made that point that the tenure of the past IG ended in January 3. So any action he took after then was a nullity, including the redeployment of the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State. Whether that was the reason,
it was part of the reason,
that was a reality.
And you had made that observation.
Yes.
Because suddenly, in the midst of handing over, the two gentlemen naturally addressed the president and said, look, we just got a signal from headquarters, from Abuja, that stay everything. You, Mr. Commissioner in Lagos, stay where you are. You, Mr. Commissioner in River State, report to Abuja. Let's take a break now, and then when we come back, let's switch topics. It's sort of related, but it isn't exactly related. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. We'll look at fake news as it connects with the CJN and his issue. Okay, welcome back, and we don't have enough time to look at all those things that we want to look at. So we sort of will leave the conversation on the change of guard within the police force for now. I'm sure one or two people will still call in on it. But fake news as a problem. We've had the Minister of Information in the studio. We've had people, we've had academics talk about it. We've had civil society. The whole society is talking about it. The internet, now that everybody has become a publisher, thanks to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you don't need any big deal, finance or capital to become a publisher anymore. And people are using it maliciously. So the news went out that the Inspector General of Police's house had been surrounded.
Inspector General of Police?
No, the CJN.
I beg your pardon. I still have Inspector General on my mind. Sorry. That CJN, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Onogen, his house has been surrounded by men of the EFCC. Of course, this would have caused consternation, and it got as bad as, first of all, EFCC put out a notice yesterday that they'd seen this thing on social media and that it was a lie. They actually specifically mentioned two people, former Aviation Minister Fani Kayode and also Yinka Odumakin. They had mentioned them in saying that they were behind, these stories, and that they should be ready, to answer questions when they would take them to court. Now, let me start with you again, with you, Okechukwu. Fake news is a threat.
Yeah.
The reckless abandon with which people are doing this in this delicate time, I think it's cause for concern. Give me your thoughts on what would appear to be a heating, an unnecessary heating of the polity.
Well, fake news, like you said, promoted by the, social media.
The ease of publication
social
now.
media provides people
Yes.
platform to say whatever they want, whenever, however. But again, I think that, and this really has been a major problem. I've had people, for instance, post things saying that people from certain ethnic group have been, military officers from a certain ethnic group have been rounded up in the north. And of course, this will naturally trigger, anger and perhaps, violence. But of course, it is even more worrisome when people of certain level, there are people you don't expect to be careless in, before you say things, you must verify your information. Whether this was deliberate, I think it is condemnable. If it was an error, and I think it wasn't expected from people of that caliber. People need to be careful before you...
Exactly. What kind of an error, Mr. Lade Taiwo, in the sense that the Inspector General, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, his spokesperson, had to put out a statement that it's rubbish. No, EFCC has put out a statement that we have not surrounded him. Now the man whose house allegedly was surrounded, his spokesman is saying nothing of the sort. Give me your thoughts on, these are part of the I don't recall that we've had an arrest that has sort of a national level where people are charged for the potential damage that they're going to cause.
Nigeria generally, I'm sorry to say, people are very loose in making statements.
we take our freedom of speech to
Yeah,
ridiculous
to a
extent.
hopeless extent. You know, I wouldn't. People of people of high caliber at the top are the people making all this type of statement, which is not correct.
And people are buying in and
they have to.
are sharing. People are sharing. So it goes to tell you that some people actually, maybe unfortunately, want to believe some things. And so when they find any kind of a leverage, no matter whether it is true or not, you don't cross-check the fact, you now share it. Say, on a can't see what they happen, and you never verify it.
And I think the most the responsible thing I expect from Fani Kayode and Odumakin is, if they have found out that what they said wasn't true, is to come out clearly and withdraw it and apologize.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it would mean that it was a deliberate attempt to create,
because they themselves,
big problem.
I don't need to speak for them, but it's possible that they themselves received a fictitious bulletin as these people set up these kind of things. They just got whatever bulletin I'm imagining, because I can't imagine you do, people of that stature, Fani Kayode, will say a thing like this if they knew it to be patently false. So it can only be that they themselves relied on their sources.
It's carelessness.
And it is carelessness, but when does carelessness now enter into, forget carelessness, it's criminal.
Yes.
What you're doing is criminal, it's actionable.
I agree with you.
You know, when there is this social media publications, they will even curse you if you don't share it. That something will happen to you if you don't share this message. Now, it's not, especially the country is in a state of, we are very high. Our situation now is the tempo is too high.
Okay, there appears to be some sort of tension,
yeah,
if you want to call it that.
The tension is high, and we should not create such a thing that we just explode the situation,
Okay. Okay. Yakub, finally, your minute has come.
Thank you, Shivjori. You see, I'm very sorry that I go faster than what you thought. You see, I'm trying to marry the issue together before, but now that the issue is already common now. Shivjori, what I'm trying to say earlier is that, assuming the new high GP come up today and got Mr. Odumakin and Fani Kayode, arrested both of them and taking them to court, what do you think opposition party will be saying? They will say now, new high GP is not placed to the gallery of Mr. President because he's appointing of Mr. President. See, what Odumakin and Fani Kayode did yesterday is a barbaric, because what both of them did, it can destabilize this country. Can you imagine that when I go to SFAK Twitter handle, 100 people have already retweeted that fake news because it is a criminal. Now that is one time ago, I made mention that how come Odumake become the spokesperson for Afenifere? I'm a Yoruba person. Am I not more a Yoruba? How those people become the leader in the first place? Who appointed, who voted for them? Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Indeed, we probably will be hearing from those two gentlemen. We don't know if indeed they themselves put those messages out or somebody using their name put that message out.
By now they ought to have reacted.
So again, one has to go and check if they have reacted. Because it boggles the mind, actually, that if Fani Kayode will make such a mistake, or for that matter, Odumakin will make such a mistake. So if they haven't put out a retraction and explain an explanation, I guess, because I don't know, those two guys cannot want to be seen as fake news peddlers, which is what we have on our hands right now. Their names are attached to fake news. They put it out. They were quite colorful. In fact, I was reading a paraphrase of some of the things that Fani Kayode allegedly said. I didn't read it myself, but something about Buhari, the President Buhari, wanting to just turn this place into the opposite of a democracy and that kind of. Did he write those things? Did he say that the CGN's house was surrounded by police? Did he say that? Or did somebody hack his account and then put out stuff in his name? These are things that people are in their names, because somehow they said it to them. Well, we just have to wait on that. No doubt.
They will defend that.
No doubt those... EFCC has certainly said that it will be taking the matter up. Mazi Okoroafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Indeed.
Welcome back to the
Thank you very much. Compliments.
Okay, it looks like one young new just spoke from yesterday. It's a pleasure speaking, sir.
Indeed, same here.
Honestly speaking, sir, this morning I just went in. So good morning, sir. You see, there are two things I look at this issue. We are talking of fake news. Propaganda minus fake news, or propaganda plus fake news. How do you assess it? This is because what we have today in Nigeria is propaganda. Because when we talk, if you want to do, if you watch your program and watch that of there was a time TVC picked what they talk about fake news. They were realizing stories that I had to do. Now when you look at Trump now, you see how Trump stories comes in every day with CNN. Now what is happening? The people back there in Trump's house, White House, they sit down and say, that makes them to do what? To sit up. So what I normally tell people that when a story comes in, what do? You sit down, assess the story, and make sure that what people are saying, whether you have any element of truth or not, so that you have what you call balance, not unbalance. So, but in Nigeria today, anytime we hear any story, people continue going haywire. That is not the situation. And we continue going haywire. We will not arrive at anything. Because our level of education is a problem. That is what we have in this country. Because Nigeria, we don't think fast. Because if you look at China, you see how China thinks fast. And they are moving fast. But we see that this story of fake news about CGN, this will be the story next week now. Another story will come again. That is the short generation. Thank you very much. Sir, you do very fresh. I think you come down to take
Thank you very much, Mazi. It's a very serious matter, fake news. Very, very, very serious.
It's not good.
And
our society is not
and there's something about our society. Mazi Okorafor there spoke about our level of education, generally speaking, where you put stuff to me. The next thing, if it is of a certain nature, is I want to check if this is true.
It's not difficult to verify.
And it's not difficult at all. But you know what? Because most people are almost unconscious in their use. They're half asleep in their use. They just say, is this what is happening now? Quickly share. And then they broadcast it to their own list. And it happens again and again, and there will be only one or two people who will know that this is wrong. You should have checked. I don't know. You see, the government, never mind the government, we have a problem on our hands. We cherish our freedom of speech. We don't want anybody to mess with our freedom on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all of that. Government, I think when Alhaji Mohamed was in the studio here about a year ago on this whole matter, because it's been going on that long, had said that government has no wish to what is that word now, to censor, as people do in other crimes. But that people have to become responsible.
Yes.
Now, in a delicate time such as we are now, weeks away to the election, this imbroglio that the CGN is embroiled in, and now I don't know what purpose it was supposed to serve, to now announce to us that they have surrounded it as if we're a banana republic and we don't have any regard for the rule of law and all of that. Tokwe, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Good morning, afternoon,
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, sir. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Please go ahead.
I'm calling from Japan.
Oh, you're calling from Japan. Okay, we acknowledge that. Welcome. What time is it in Japan? What time do you have in Japan? What time do you have in Japan?
Yeah, this is 15 minutes after 7 now.
Okay, you're welcome. Go ahead, please. Go.
About our people, Dumaki and Panika Day.
Fake news.
I think these people, they are causing problems in India. They didn't represent Yoruba at all. I'm a Yoruba man. I'm a typical Ondo State. But the way they are behaving in Nigeria, the way they are carrying Yoruba name, it doesn't represent Yoruba character.
Yeah, but But I hear you, but this is not a tribal matter, is it?
It's not trouble.
No, sorry, Tokwe,
to keep my family's name. Sam?
I was going to say that this is not a tribal matter. The person could have been Njoku, he could have been Abdullahi, he could have been Orishe Jolomi. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. They're not the only ones who are.
Okay, I understand. I understand. What I'm just trying to say now is about these fake news. These fake news have caused a lot of problems.
Yes.
As I'm talking to you, every day I'm watching just to check Google, go to Facebook, different fake news. Before you know, another fake news. Tomorrow, another fake news. So which one are we going to believe in Nigeria? And we are in Nigeria. We want to know what is happening in Nigeria, but we don't know the real one. They will send a message on Facebook, WhatsApp, they will send a message. A different message, different lies. They will sit down in their room and create a fake news. So people are causing war. So government has to do something about it.
Thank you, Tokwe. Indeed, something definitely has to be done about it, because the truth is, it must be said, it's a bit embarrassing, but our people are gullible. There's so many women, men who are just this side of being literate, and anything that is set into print is gospel to them. They do not, and it's a frustrating thing. They have the right to use these communication devices, aka social media. They have the right, like every other Nigerian, but they don't know the power of communication. It's like putting an AKG, is that something? AK-47, AKG was a microphone audio company. You put an AK-47 in the hands of an untrained person, that's what it is. People are getting bad information, and if they knew any better, they just ignore it and it would die a natural death, but people are going to share it. People are going to share it. So I don't know, government definitely has to come in on this whole matter, but how does government come in on such a delicate platform?
What I would say is that, and I think that Nigerians are interested in the survival of their democracy, and that is why whenever things like this happen, Nigerians condemn it, whether it is Yoruba man or Igbo man or Hausa man.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter from which ethnic group this is coming from. What is important is that for every crime or offense, there's a law. There's a law. I think that we have sufficient laws to address this, so that it shouldn't be an opportunity for government to go overboard and, for instance, somebody was talking about if police arrest. Nobody says that the police should not arrest anybody who has committed an offense, but there's a procedure the police must follow. When police goes overboard, that's when it becomes. For instance, I do not think that Dino Melaye should be treated the way he has treated, even though he hasn't behaved well. If they say he has committed an offense, the police must follow due process and not, so that's my point. It doesn't matter whether.
Mike in Yaba, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Sir, I don't know how the authority will handle the issue of this fake news. Few weeks ago or few months ago, we had in our hand the issue of Mr. President. It's not the president we voted for. my 13-year-old boy came back from school and was asking me, Dad, is it true that Buhari is dead? Is it true that the person in Aso Rock is from Sudan?
Is a clone.
I took time to explain to him, I took time to orientate him that the people that are carrying the news, I don't know their interest. Last week, the same Panikayode said that Bola Ahmed Tinubu slumped and was rushed to the hospital. The same Panikayode. I believe that he had purpose of spreading this fake news, knowing fully well that Nigerians are gullible, regardless of their education. Nigerians, regardless, because you see even men Nigerians will be spreading the same news,
and they will be arguing with you. Personally, as a person, I don't forward messages. If you send message to me and say, oh, so is happening. If you love Nigeria, forward this message.
Yes.
Do you know, sir? Even people abroad, my friend in US, will send me a message, and I will tell them that this is not true. They will not say that why are they sending the messages to them? I don't know. I don't know what government we do, but we have a problem in our hands.
Indeed.
We have a problem, serious problem.
Indeed.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Tokwe. It goes back to the point of social media. These are different times. Suddenly the ordinary Nigerian has so many different ways with which to reach the public. People have lists. Some of them have 50,000 people on their list, 5,000 people on their list. So it's a lot of power. And I dare say, without any scientific proof, of these humongous lists, only a minuscule fraction of those can really be said to be discerning, enlightened people who get information like this and know that social media is not your first port of call for news. You don't go to social media to hear what the latest news is. But a lot of people take their news from social media. There's nothing we can do about that. That's the way people have turned the thing into. So the next thing is what Lai Mohamed did here about over a year ago. In fact, at the time, he said that government was working on a plan of getting broadcast organizations, newspapers to sort of to have this concerted campaign. I don't know that I've seen of any such campaign, alerting the public to the fact of the danger that it constitutes to our very life security and all of that.
That's right. You know, the problem Nigeria has is lack of education. And the government didn't put structure on ground. Whoever rules, when the structure is there, you have no problem. But when there is no structure and there is no enlightenment, the people didn't know what to do and how to go about it. You know, while I was in the force, you know, what I do mostly is to enlighten people.
Okay.
This is
an
offense. This is not an offense. This is what you do that will make police to arrest you.
But a lot of Nigerians know their rights. A lot of Nigerians do know. But unfortunately, I would guess that many more do not know enough.
That is what I want you to say,
yes.
Not a lot.
Charles in Ojo, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Good morning
please.
to the people in the studio. Right?
Morning.
Please go ahead on fake news.
Okay, well, what I want to say is that the issue about the fake news is something that has been going on in Nigeria for some time. And government should ensure that this fake news should be addressed appropriately. And also about Fani Kaode, and they should look into the aspect that if Fani Kaode was the person that really, tweeted or spread this fake news, and they should look into that also. Because someone, just like how you said before, that someone might have hacked into the account. You understand?
Because the man is a lawyer, he's highly educated, and so why would he do a thing like that? He just has to come and prove that his account was hacked into.
They should look into the matter before going to a final conclusion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Interesting point. Because if we're talking about fake news by definition, I don't know. We just need to hear from those gentlemen. But it's mind-boggling what their names have been attached to. I think that needs to be said. And it's not always that you're able to attach such names to the source and origin of fake news being propagated. So you then begin to ask, what effect did they want to create? Did they want to create a peaceful atmosphere or the opposite of that? Do they want to muddy up the whole investigation that's going on about the CJN? I understand I have to take Kehinde in Ibadan. Good morning, Kehinde. Kehinde in Ibadan. Kehinde.
Hello?
Hello.
Kehinde from Ibadan.
Okay, we've been waiting for you. Good morning and go ahead.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead.
I enjoy your discussion on fake news this morning.
Okay. Please contribute to it.
Ibadan.
Contribute to it.
Yeah. Now, I think what the Nigerian government can do is to let Nigerians know what happened in Rwanda. What happened in Rwanda is very, very important here.
I hear you.
Now, if it is possible, we have Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. I think there should be a section that will be checking what information people are putting into the air. It is very important. I read something about what happened in Rwanda, and the president of that country did exactly what they did was to reject the way people are passing information to their people. And they set up an organization that will go through and ensure that good and educative information are what people are sending to the people.
Okay.
So I want to make it a point of duty to the Minister of Information. Let them see, let them go, and let them read the document on what Rwanda government did after that suicidal war that they went through. Let them read that document. And it will be of help.
What do you think? Kehinde, just before you go, Kehinde, are you still there? Kehinde? We lost him. Okay, I think we lost him because I was going to ask what he thought about the names being attached to the origin of this fake news. I mean, a former minister in Nigeria, you know, in the person of Fani Kayode, and Yinka Dumaki, spokesman of Afenifere, who is not an unknown quantity in the public media. So these two people, it's a bit strange. I was going to ask Kehinde what he thought should be the case.
If they are arrested, they will attach political intonation to it.
Well, I mean, we talk about arrest, but at least in terms of investigation, they could investigate it.
When they investigate, and you know, that's what you are saying of people gullible. People will just say, I say, you know how many lawyers went for the CJ?
Oh,
97.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to leave it here, and I want to thank you very, very much, Mr. Kuala Alade Taiwo, Assistant Commissioner of Police, retired. Thank you very much for giving us your insight. And as always, our friend Okechukwu Nwaguma, National Coordinator, Network on Police Reform in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now. That was an interesting camera angle.